and welcome to Side Character Quest. This is your faithful DM, Ty, not going off of any sort of script or anything like that, just kind of dancing around, just kind of having a good old grand old time. How you doing? Hey, pal of mine, what's going on?
What's up, Ty?
I like the contrast of our energies right now.
I gotta bring it down.
It's
a little too excited for me. My name's Jeff Richardson. I host and produce 3 podcasts, and I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, we will probably plug those podcasts at the end, and I'll definitely link to them in the episode description.
Hell yeah!
So look out.
The one I love all my shows, but I really would love for people to find The War for the Tower.
Yeah,
it's set in the world of Stephen King's Dark Tower. It's super fun. It's an actual play. Check it out.
Check it out, guys. So speaking of actual play and stuff like that, tell me a little bit about your experience with Dungeons and Dragons, with tabletop RPGs, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'm 42, and I found Dungeons and Dragons at like 12, I think. My brother came home with the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual. Mm-hmm. And then we got a module, the Isle of Death, but I still don't think we had all the gear. Maybe we had the red box, but
yeah.
But turns out Isle of Death is like a 9th level, or it's like a 5th level, but 4 party members, and I was like trying to run my brother through it solo. It was weird too, because I was 12 and he was 15, and I was the dungeon master.
Mm-hmm. Because you had that 12-year-old energy of just like, I'm just gonna read all of these rules. Oh, so excited.
Yes, and I did so.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, I was dungeon master pretty much every game I played and every type of game. Cyberpunk 2020 and Steve Jackson games, Car Wars, Marvel superheroes, and then I took a long break.
Yeah.
And then I got back into it by starting my podcast. So
nice. So listeners, Jeff is actually the first person that I did not know who sent me a message saying that they had listened to this show and saying that it's cool. So that was like such a validating experience, like just hearing somebody, like someone has heard this.
I mean, spoilers, but like there were skeleton people and they weren't evil. It was so rad.
Yeah.
I had to say something.
I very much appreciate it. Yeah, this has been a fun time, and Jeff's very good at fostering community, and I appreciate that. Good on you, man.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I've been really blessed to. The Facebook groups, turns out, are the least shitty thing on the internet.
I know.
I think.
Everybody's so supportive. I'm sorry for anybody out here who has had a very different experience with their Facebook groups, but all of the ones I'm on are so nice.
And I blame it on the McElroy brothers.
Yeah.
They just fostered a sense of love and respect and openness to new cultures and new ideas. And it's just filtered through all their many tentacles throughout the internet.
Yeah. So that what Jeff is referring to here is the Facebook group that we, I believe it's the one that we first came into contact with each other on, was a Facebook group specifically for my brother and me listeners who are also podcasters.
Yes.
So yeah, everybody there, McElroy influenced.
So we generally share a sensibility, and I think it's almost down to like the rules of the Facebook group.
I think so.
Like, don't be shitty, basically.
Yeah, be cool. Midnight Amendments.
Yeah, the Midnight Amendments. Holla.
These are
holla? Hell yeah?
Hell yeah.
Hell y'aller. There we go.
Very good.
New phrase, trademark Jeff Richardson.
Perfect. But yeah, so tell me a little bit just about the build. You don't have to go into like the details of like what feats you chose, that sort of stuff, but tell me a little bit about the character you have, like what's their class, level, species, that sort of stuff.
So Aymar Pardima is he's like a former soldier turned holy kind of crusader type, but not in the shitty, like attack villagers kind of stuff, but more like he's a lay preacher. He goes to small towns where they don't have their own priest, and he preaches the good word. But he's also a trained soldier, so he'll step in if somebody needs a sword, or a lance, or a morning star.
It's been established that the followers of Lumen, which Aymar is, the followers of Lumen sort of serve as an auxiliary medical force / also police force / whatever. Like they fill up a lot of roles in this world, and just help out different folks. So it would make sense that you would have like a sort of soldier background, because a lot of towns don't have somebody that can take care of themselves, take care of the town, if there's some sort of outward threat.
Yeah, but I was just an enlisted guy. I'm not a lordling, so
not like some people.
I'm not all stuffy and fancy and castle bred.
Yeah, exactly.
I think my dad was a blacksmith.
Okay, I dig it. So what's the class that you ended up choosing?
I'm a second level fighter and a third level paladin. So I've been paladining a little longer than I've been straight fighting.
Yeah, which is nice. I don't think we've ever had any sort of multi-class on the show before. So we're branching out. We're expanding.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell
yaller.
All right, man. So last thing before we actually get into the show proper, I like to give every player when they come on the show, a little boon, because you're a level 5 character, so you should have collected some sort of magical item at some point in the past. So check your messenger thing in a moment. I'm going to send you some stuff, and I want you to choose one of the ones that I list, and then I want you to describe to me how you got it, and feel free to ask me any questions that you have about the items.
Let's see here. Yeah, I've got to go with the Quill of the Calligrapher.
Nice. I was not expecting you to choose that one.
It will copy or write down from dictation up to 3 pages of text per day.
Yes, which could be potentially very useful for a holyman.
Yeah, and it's a way for me to make my reading comprehension better.
Nice.
Because I'm just a lay preacher. I don't read all the sacred texts or whatever, so I can say some stuff that I remembered and then read it. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm teaching myself how to read.
Very good. Light dances across St. Simone's Island, a small town off the coast of the Salton Sea. A warm breeze rustles the periwinkle snails climbing up Spartinus. Dozens of thumb-sized crabs scuttle over the sand, and a small rowboat rocks against the docks. On the water's edge, a man stands, looking over the waves, and looking decidedly out of place. He turns and walks to the post. Tell me a little bit about what we see. How are you dressed right now?
Aymar wears a pretty ragged dark green cloak with a hood. If he's standing by the water taking in the scene, he'd have his hood off, and his luxurious blonde wavy hair is kind of blowing in the wind, and his it's kind of a bushy but well trimmed yellow and white beard, and he's just kind of ruggedly looking out over the water. He's got breeches that were yellow, boots that are brown but look almost black, like he's been in the mud for a while, and a crusty brown tunic, and a tabard with the emblems of Lumen on it. It's white and green and with yellow writing.
Nice.
And then he also has the symbol of Lumen on his shield. On my character sheet, I had 2-weapon fighting. I meant for it to be shield.
That's
Sword
acceptable.
and shield.
By the way, I was going to have you walking to the post before I knew that you worked at the post office. But anyway,
I have a sack full of letters. Oh, that is one service that I actually... The quill comes in handy, right? Because I can send messages from town to town.
I'm totally... Yeah, totally.
And I bring food and like, yeah.
Okay. So as you walked, or rather, actually, let me back up. Do you have a horse with you? Do you have a steed or anything like that?
I do. I have the Find Steed spell.
Okay.
And so if my horse ever gets too tired or I have to leave it somewhere, I'll call another one.
Okay.
And this particular one is, that kind of blonde horse, like a big, strong, running across the prairie horse with like a whitish gold mane and brown eyes with like metallic green flecks and a big, beautiful tail. I have like pads and saddlebags, a lance, a couple javelins, a war horn, and whatever that barding is, I think.
Yeah,
it's
barding.
The outside blanket is again like Lumen related.
I want the listener to know that I did not break out any. I did not edit out any gaps. He just had that. Like just ready, which is great. So as you are you mounting your horse and like riding back, or are you just like walking back? Do you have your horse with you right now?
It depends. Are there people near? Is it like anybody walking around or whatever? Because then I'd like get off the horse and say hi.
There's nobody walking around over here. You're in a fairly the place you're heading to. You are heading towards the town proper. Where you are right now is pretty empty.
Cool. So I'll hop up on old Daisy May and trot on down the road.
As you ride, you think about the letter that's in your pocket. It has you remember that it had a sunburst sigil on it, and it was signed by the High Priest Lord Frederick.
Is this guy an honorary lord, or is he like full on have lands and knights and stuff?
He has, well, he had a knight, and he does have some lands, but he is both the priest and he is a political, financial, economic lord, both of those things.
It sounds almost like a Templar.
Yeah.
A crusader, moneylender type.
Kind of that thing. Yeah. So the letter said, "Loyal acolytes, priests and reverends, bearers of light, servants of Lumen. First, I would like to thank you for all of your efforts. Whether it be doing research at Congress Monastery, aiding with quake repair efforts, or simply providing a healing word to farmers along the Seganom, all of you have been essential in shining Lumen's light on this world. But shadows approach. I am certain by now you've heard tell of dark magic near the pines. There, on the edge of our influence, a strike has been made against the light. If we are to keep the people safe, we must establish torches in the night. To this end, I have tasked each of you with special ministry work. The bitter colds of Mount Rena's peaks, the savage waters of the Salton Sea, the forbidding wilderness of the pines. These await you. Your instructions are enclosed." So when you got this letter, you were out at doing your previous work, your previous assignment, at a mountain range sort of northwest of Cirque called the Three Brothers. Tell me a little bit about what you used to do there.
Okay, so working in the mountains is a whole lot different than working on the water because there's fewer of them. They're scattered all over the place. There's these narrow trails, like sometimes you even have to like tie up your horse to get to somebody's house. And And so I'd bring staples, I'd bring letters, I'd pray with them, but like also you'd send messages ahead so that they'd all gather at the same little village. And I would even adjudicate cases between, people that's not like I wouldn't behead anyone, but it would be like little things, that they wouldn't want to bring the Lord out for.
You'd apply a little bit of authority to some sort of discussion. Maybe marriages and theft cases, that sort of thing.
And then I was kind of feted by the local lesser lords because like they almost never see anyone important, so they'd feed me good and I'd get a shower or whatever.
Nice. So when you got this message, it instructed you to go to the town of St. Simone's Island, which is a small coastal island on the Salton Sea. You were tasked with going there and establishing a rapport with the locals, with basically establishing a church, a chapel on this island, to be sort of a headquarters for Lumen in this place. And little spoiler alert, getting that set up, that is your side quest today.
I love it.
So you right now are carrying your response letter, your sort of letter telling Lord Frederick, High Priest Lord Frederick, what your success has been, what has been going on to the post office. We're going to do a quick little flashback, and I would like to sort of see what you've been up to for the past couple of weeks while you've been here. This is going to be like essentially the stuff that you have written down. We're going to do a series of a few scenes from when you arrived.
Nice.
So when you arrived, wait, flashback music. When you rode into town, you had to cross a small bridge. Well, it's a long bridge, but it's not super high. It's just cutting through the marsh, going over to this coastal island of St. Simone's Island. And you rode across. You rode through the forest of trees with Spanish moss. I guess it wanted to be Spanish moss because Spain doesn't exist here, but Spanish moss dripping down from these trees. Lots of light just dancing through as you go. And you were probably expecting something a little bit rougher than what you found, because when you roll up on the main street of this place, you see tourists, you see rich people, you see businesses, you see a meadery, you see a novelty store, you see restaurants, you see a museum, you see all of these things. And it was not quite what you expected to find, I'm sure. So tell me, how did you sort of establish yourself in this town when you arrived?
Well, I mean, just the letter, like the whole sense of what I'm doing here just makes me angry. The idea that some dark evil could be creeping through the land, like I want to be on the front line dealing with it. And so, like, from the moment I came into this place to now, I've like rambled up Main Street on my horse and like took note of everything. And then another time I've walked the whole length, and I just kind of I get the sense of the culture, and I try to match it as best I can, but I don't talk that much.
Gotcha.
More than is necessary.
So when you've been walking through the town, like I said before, you were seeing all these businesses. Let me describe a little bit about what you see over these days as you are just sort of exploring the town and trying to get a vibe of the culture. You notice a lot of families. Notice most of the people that seem to live here are human. But you do still see a fair number of tourists that are halflings, dwarves, coming down from Mount Rena. You notice people that have traveled down from Cirque, which is the big like metropolis city. Mount Rana and Cirque are both of the biggest cities that you are aware of. You have seen the Salton Sea Bee Company, which does mead, honey. It has an inn, a small inn. You see Salty Sims locksmithing and novelties. You see a guy that's just sort of like walking around with like a little gnome guy walking around trying to give people kayak tours. You see what looks like maybe like a gutted out church that is now a museum. All those sorts of things. You see children playing in the street, and you don't see anything evil. It's got to be like this is not the place you were before. Was much more rough and tumble than this.
I'm experienced enough to know that it hides and it comes out when you least expect it. Mm-hmm. But I try to get a sense of the people, and especially particular folks, because I'm trying to find the poorest people and the most truly devoted to religion in general, or like, you know, some kind of spiritual beliefs.
Yeah.
And because I'm trying to find do I have a contact?
Would you have a contact? No. But you do know that there is a mayor of this town. Yeah, there's no established, like, part of the reason you were sent here is because High Lord Frederick has no one here. There is zero influence from Lumen in this location. Like, you would know that the place that you had been, the Three Brothers mountain range, that is like the farthest reach that Lumen used to have, and that's much closer to Cirque than where you are right now. You are much more on the edge of the world.
Oh shit, man! This is like the major leagues. Like, I've been sent out to break ground,
pretty much,
and bring these non-believers to the truth.
Yeah. And I should.
This is exciting.
I should say, just so you know, I'm probably not going to include this in the thing. There is not a sense among followers of Lumen that he is the one true God. It's more of that he is a God that has power and that needs to be respected and needs to be and can do lots of good for the world. He's Lord Frederick, and everybody, maybe not you. Lord Frederick is cool if other people worship other gods, as long as Lumen gets his due, and as long as Lumen can continue to have a positive impact on the world, if that makes sense.
Right. I imagine that most Lumineers don't...
Lumineers! That's so good!
I imagine that most of them don't take on a lot of property.
Yeah.
And, like, be all flashy with it.
With one notable exception, that would be yes.
Cool.
Yeah, but yeah. So if you were trying to get a view of like sort of the religious situation here, you said that's what you were trying to do.
Yeah, just the seekers, you know, the fertile soil for a good sermon, and I'm also trying to find a little plot of land, someplace unclaimed by a religious group, so I won't be stepping on any toes, but just like, you know, a 6 foot by 6 foot place where I can preach.
Yeah. So you probably, let's see, how might would you basically just be like looking for a spot on Main Street, or would you
I mean, location is everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the kind of guy that will kind of give people a smile, but I'm not overly emotive until you get to know me, and then I'm all hugs and stuff. But yeah, you got to get through the wall. So I wait for people to talk to me, but I'm like friendly. So
you're hanging out, and you've been just sort of walking up and down Main Street. You have done this over however many days, you know, just sort of trying to establish yourself, make sure you are known, and roll me a charisma check. I just want to sort of see how good of an impression you've given on the townsfolk over this past like couple weeks?
If I describe it a little, can I get advantage?
Yes, describe it a little bit. Tell me how you've
Okay.
been trying to give a good impression of yourself.
So first I try to find the poorest of the poor, if there's any orphans or widows, if there's any people that seem to have a lot of time on their hands, maybe they're unemployed or have some sort of reason why things aren't all there. The elderly. Anyway, I try to get one or two people from all those groups and just start talking to them. You know, if I see them at the breakfast spot or whatever, and if I can borrow somebody's little plot of land, or if I can just post up in the park, I'll after I've been there 6 days, I'll start preaching the good word.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, I got a 15 and a 2. My charisma bonus is +3.
Nice. So 18 total. So with that, you've actually had a pretty good vibe with people. So after a few days of just sort of walking around and just sort of starting up conversations, you're walking around and you end up meeting Kilderkin, who is one of the children of Lulu, who runs the Salton Sea Bee Company, and she's just kind of Kilderkin. She is just a little kid, maybe like 8, 9, or 10.
I want to say she's 8.5.
Cool, yeah, she's 8.5.
She's very specific.
She is super specific, and you guys get a nice little rapport going. And before long, you have a pretty good relationship with all the younger kids for Lulu. So Rundlet, Firkin, Pin, all these little guys are just hanging on your every word and hanging out with you. You also with 18, you also get a pretty good relationship going with Salty Sim, who runs the local locksmithing and novelties store. Who is a pretty they're a goblin, by the way, and they are just really bored with their job. And you have been a nice distraction for them, just on their daily business. So you've started to get a good rapport going with people.
Can we do just like the last part of a conversation with Salty Sim?
Totally.
So I love that Salty Sim's a locksmith and my dad was a blacksmith, so I just ask him tons of questions and I watch I get to know his whole deal.
Yeah, so this is what you do. Pretty much everybody around here just wants a replica, like pirate treasure chest or something. They just want it. Oh, you click this, you press this, and it pops open. A sail comes out. Oh, wow, everybody's so impressed. I worked for Guildmaster Alton in Cirque. I studied under that man, and now I'm doing this bullshit for these local yokels. I cannot stand it. It's terrible. I cannot stand these people.
Salty Sim, it sounds like you haven't yet found your tribe.
That's, I mean, yes, you are definitely correct, sir. This is not a place that I would... Oh, God, customers coming in. Welcome to Salty Sim's Locksmithing and Novelties. I am Salty... I am Salty Sim. Jeez, these guys. I'm so sorry.
Ooh, I do, like, I put up my hands and I, like, jump back a little with the startled face, like, oh, this side of him's scary.
Beautiful. Yeah. We cut away and see you reading over your letter to Lord Frederick. You're putting your final little touches on it, maybe like adding a little bit of this note about Salty Sim and how you're really getting a good rapport going. Then we zoom out and see that you are sitting in a post office. There are a couple of workers in here. There's a couple horses tied up outside to bring the news far out. There is a seagull sitting on a desk, and yeah, it's that's what you see.
There's a seagull on the desk.
Yeah, there's a seagull on the desk. There's...
Alive?
Yes, there are...
Oh,
Go ahead.
hey, that's good. I'm glad it's alive.
Yeah, you take your letter, fold it up, maybe take out your... I assume you have a sigil of Lumen as well to just sort of mark yourself as part of the clergy.
Yes.
Press in some wax and go over to hand it over to the two people behind the desk. One of them is a woman, looks like she's in her 40s, blonde hair. She is dressed very professionally. All right. Hello, sir. How are you doing today? Are you having a good time? I see you got yourself a letter there. So will this be going by the normal post, or will this be going by animal messenger today?
I believe the normal post will suit, my lady.
Excellent, excellent. I will make sure that this goes out. Where will it be headed to? It'll be headed to Cirque, just so you know.
This one is going to the great city of Cirque, my lady.
Excellent, excellent. So she takes a few gold pieces. I'm not going to figure out how much. She takes a few gold pieces for payment and says to you, "All right, I will make sure this gets out to them ASAP. It'll probably be a couple weeks. As you might know, the travel has been a little bit hectic around here lately. What with the all that weird stuff going on in South Bend and out in the pine forest, all that sort of stuff. It's kind of disrupted the normal transport.
There was the upside down rain, the hobgoblin spirit, the red wine crusader.
She looks a little puzzled by what you're saying, but she just like nods her head, goes along with it. Yeah, hobgoblin. She looks over at the other person and like sort of leans over. She's like, "Have you ever seen a hobgoblin before? Have you ever seen one?" And the other person's just the other person who you see is like feeding the seagull a piece of bread. She is wearing a sort of like multicolored shirt and just has like very like crazy hair with like sticks in it and stuff. She says, "Hey man, I hear all kinds of things." And then just like turns away and just ignores you guys.
Do I know these women's names?
I imagine you probably would know their names by now.
Have I ever used the animal post?
You probably haven't. The animal post is generally run by, it's generally much more expensive.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
Yeah. So, roll me a quick, roll me a history check.
That's a 16.
Yeah. So you know that, historically, messaging magics are not very reliable. They just don't really seem to work past a certain distance. And so because of that, people generally rely on normal post, but some people with access to druidic magic have come to selling their animal messenger services at a premium because it's the fastest way to get stuff, to get a message away, unless you have like access to a sounding stone, which most people do not. Those things are very rare.
Have I ever seen one in use?
A sounding stone?
Yeah.
Probably not. So there's basically two. I'll just add this onto your 16 history check. There's basically two major sounding stones, one at Mount Rena, one at Cirque. And there is you've heard rumors that another one was found in some other town recently, but you haven't like. If that is true, if there has been another sounding stone found, that other town is going to become a hot spot because, yeah, those are big deals when people find those.
Like the government runs that shit.
Generally, yeah. Yeah. The local government of whatever city it's in, like, they love that shit. They love it.
Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, so the names of these people.
Blonde woman in multicolored shirt with sticks. Have I ever met this Lord Frederick or the Guildmaster from Cirque?
You've never met met Guildmaster Alton. You probably have met Lord Frederick at least once when you were first introduced. When you were first introduced to Lumen or when you first became official.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the blonde lady is named Serafina, and the other person is named Gina Dean.
So I clear my throat and I'll say Gina Dean.
Yeah.
Well met. Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah. It's been great getting to know you. Are you leaving? What's Hey.
I'd like to invite the both of you to get together. I'm putting together tomorrow in that plot by the park where I put a red tile there. And so that's like I've booked it. Anyway, you guys should join us. We'll have a little outdoor pancake situation. I think you'll enjoy it.
When you say pancakes, her eyes just widen immediately.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She looks at the seagull. The seagull looks at her, and then they both look back at you. Yeah. And then, but Serafina, when you mentioned the red tile, her eyes furrow, or her brow furrows in sort of a worried look, and she says, did you get this approved? Oh boy, anything that's gonna happen in the town square, anything that's gonna happen with the island, that has to run through Mayor Chambers, right? You can't there are rules and regulations.
Serafina, are you offering to introduce me to our fine mayor?
I would.
Because I'd love to go with you. If you'll have me.
Roll me a charisma check.
Oh, terrible. Yeah, that's a 9.
I will say we're gonna go with Monster of the Week rules, which is she will go along with what you have said if you give her a good reason.
The reason is because I want to get to know her better. I think she's the kind of woman that you can build a movement around. I'm not going to be here forever. I need somebody that can raise the church with me, So I've got my eyes peeled.
Okay, so we're going to say that you have been every time you have come to this office, you have been very friendly with these people, built up a rapport, and you have a good rapport with these folks. So she's like, listen, I can't leave right now, but if you come by the office either during my lunch break or maybe after work at 5 or 6, I could take you over to Mayor Chambers' house and introduce you to.
That would be such a gift, my lady.
Oh, yeah, it would.
I've had a wonderful time here today, Gina Dean, Serafina. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then I depart, smiling and shaking hands if there's other people in there.
Yeah. So you, as you exit, a halfling woman walks in and just sort of passes you. You give her a little head nod as she walks over. Yeah. So we'll just skip on ahead. So, do you go back and meet Serafina at lunchtime, or do you wait until after she gets off work?
After she gets off work.
Okay. So you go back, and it's 6 o'clock. You hear cicadas buzzing in the air. There's a nice, warm, salty breeze through the air.
I'm holding a bouquet of wildflowers that I picked.
Oh boy.
Oh boy!
And I'm wearing
I'm
wearing a hat I used to wear back when I was a soldier that looks kind of jaunty.
You are just turning up the charm here. Yeah. So so let me. Can I ask you something real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Is he okay? So, question for Aymar.
Mm-hmm.
Is he turning up the charm because he is interested in Serafina, because he just doesn't know how to turn it off the charm, or because he is specifically misleading her into helping him?
No, this is an organizing technique.
Gotcha.
In which you find somebody that's into your vibe, and then so I'm just fully present. And then if she wants to share more, I'll share more. You know, it's a give and take, or you coming to a nice agreement situation.
Doesn't know how to turn it off.
And if she's into me and I'm into her, like whatever, that's fine too.
Very good, very good. I like it.
But that's not part of the job.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
like I'm a spy or something.
No. But anyway, so you roll up. It is late in the evening, and
I left my horse at wherever I'm staying. I tried to find like the cheapest situation, like maybe even renting a room at somebody's house,
Gotcha.
like outside of town, whatever.
let's say that you're rooming in Salty Sim's like upstairs. They have like, or behind their shop, they have like a couple rooms, and you are hanging out in one of those rooms.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah, because you could stay at the Sultan CB company. They have an inn, but like it's pricey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you roll up and you open the door, and you just see Serafina come out in her postal uniform, and she looks at your bouquet of flowers and is like, huh, I wasn't expecting.
Can I roll an insight check to see if she's like weirded out or whatever?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I got a 17.
She is not used to this sort of attention. She is not displeased.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Like she doesn't know like you haven't been like in all of your interactions you've been polite. Like you've.
My backup plan, if she thought I was hitting on her, was to be like, "Oh, I got these for the mayor."
Very good. Yeah. No. So she just sort of walks along and is like walking very has a respectable distance from you. Leaves a little room for Lumen between you two. But yeah,
I really love. That's one of my favorite hymns. Is leave 3 feet for Lumen.
Yeah. So you guys walk away from downtown, and you start walking through, once again, these trees with just this ringlets of Spanish moss falling down from the branches. Do you know what Spanish moss is? I don't know how common of a thing that is.
Yeah, it's like hangy. It gets really long.
Yeah. You know.
Heck yeah.
So you guys are walking through there, and as you're going, Serafina is pointing out a few different very like there's these houses that are most of them have like large porches around them, some of them with like blue roofs above the porches, or blue ceilings, I should say. There's some that are made of like sort of an older style, but there's some that are clearly new constructions, and all of them are very very nicely built. She's just pointing out like, oh, this is owned by this person, this is owned by this person, this is owned by this, blah 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 blah. As you're going, you sort of leave that more well built up, that more rich area, and there's a little bit of a gap, a little bit of a longer road, and you walk up to a much more modest home, and here is where we will find our mayor chambers. Yeah, so if you want to go in, if you want to knock, I guess, should I knock on the door and introduce you to? How would you like this to go?
Well, I'm like kind of shuffling with the flowers, and I'm like, oh, do you think we should have brought some wine? Oh, shoot. And then I hand her the flowers, and then I knock on the door. And then I take them back.
Okay.
And then I give them back to her because that's weird.
Yeah.
It's real awkward.
Oh, man. There's a moment of like shuffling, and then a door opens. Or a door opens. A door in the back opens, and then you hear, "Oh shit! I did it again!" No, door opens in front of you, and a older woman, maybe 50 or 60, that sort of age range, human woman with graying hair, but a very like upright, very good posture, stands and looks out over you, both of you. Serafina says, "Hello, Winnie. This is my new friend, brother Aymar. Brother, is that what I?
Brother. Yep, brother." I reach out my hand to like shake hands.
Mayor Winnie Chambers. She reaches out her hand, grasps yours, very firm grip, and shakes your hand and says, "Oh, brother Aymar, I think that I've heard something about you."
I'm still shaking her hand, and I'm giving her the look like that's a very firm grip kind of thing.
Very good.
Well, what brings you here today, Brother Aymar and Mrs. Serafina, or Miss Serafina?
Winnie? Can I call you Winnie?
Let's stick with Mayor Chambers for now. Don't want to get a little too familiar yet.
That makes perfect sense, Mayor. You've worked hard to be a good mayor, so...
Yes, I have.
That makes sense. So here's the thing, Mayor, and I'll like move to sit at a chair.
Would you prefer to sit outside on the porch? We've got all these rocking, or would you prefer to come into the drawing room?
Wherever I can sit. I've been on my feet all day, delivering the good word and whatnot.
She walks you into the drawing room and motions towards a couple of chairs. There's two. There's like basically a love seat, and Serafina sits down, and then you also sit down, and there's just like it's fairly close, and she's like, "Would either of you like a drink, a mojito? Would you like a mint julep, a sweet tea, water, anything like that?"
Well, Mayor Chambers, surprise me. Something you think represents you or your work as a mayor.
All right, I think I can do that.
I assume that you know Serafina. She walked me right over here, so...
Yes, Serafina has been doing my mail quite ably for quite a long time. We all have a deep abiding love for Serafina on this here island. She glances at the very brief, like, small distance between you two, and Serafina like kind of like sits upright a little bit more, like creates a little bit of proper distance. She's like, I hope you
3 feet from Lumen.
I hope you I'll go ahead and get those drinks. She steps away, and you hear some sort of clinking. You look around do you do anything like while you're waiting?
I whisper to Serafina. I say, this feels awkward. Does it seem awkward to you?
That really does seem kind of awkward. I'm sorry. Listen, I don't know. Yeah, a little awkward. Yeah, she seems a little more on edge than I usually see her as.
I was gonna say exactly that. A little on edge, perhaps.
Yeah, she didn't seem to like you that much when you walked up. I don't know why that would. I mean, people have liked you. I don't feel like I'm speaking out of turn when I say that people have seemed to enjoy your presence here. Yeah.
Well, there's no use in speculating. We'll see what she shows us, you and I.
So a few minutes later, you're hearing like clinking and stuff from the other room, and a few minutes later you see You see Mayor Chambers walk back into the room with a tray that has 3 brown glasses on it, as well as 3 empty glasses with a big old pitcher of water next to it. And she sets it down on a table sort of off to the side of the love seat you're on, and she sits down in an armchair a little bit off to the, on the opposite side of that table.
This here is a special cocktail of my own making. You'll notice a fine whiskey with a bit of the honey from this Salton CB company around the rim, with a little bit of salt mixed in for flavor.
Salted honey.
Salted honey.
That's an amazing notion. I don't think I've ever even thought to try it.
There's also a sort of crisp green apple slice pressed onto the edge of the glass.
I'm definitely gonna have to try this.
You see Seraphina out of the corner of your eye, like picking it up and nursing it. Mayor Chambers looks at you as she picks up her glass and just takes like one of those like kind of almost fake sips where you can't quite tell if she actually drank anything. Mm-hmm. And she says, Now tell me, Mr. Amos, was it? Amos?
Aymar Pardima, defender of the faith.
Mr. Pardima, can you tell me, please, what brings you to this here town?
I heard through the light of Lumen's prophecy that the people of this island are looking for answers. Truths that haven't yet been delivered. And every truth requires a messenger. So they sent me.
She lifts up her hand. She says, let me stop you right there, my dear friend. Bless your heart. I think that we don't need messengers here on St. Simone's. We need financials. We need tourism. We need business. We need trade. We need all sorts of development. We need lots of good things. We don't need some back alley reverend. She says that with like a smile on her face.
The vein on my forehead is just going.
You feel like the tension is like Seraphina like realize like what she is sitting in on right now. We don't need.
I start to stand up. I get like halfway through a stand out of the couch.
As you are doing that, she's like leaning back.
I say, Madam Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not here to serve you. I'm here to serve Lumen and the people of this land. This land is in trouble. And if you're not going to help these people, I will. And I walk out.
Oh, good. Okay.
Or I start to, and I'm take a big swig of my drink and I set it down on something.
You hear her, as you're walking out, you hear her turn to Seraphina and say,
well, that went about as well as I could have expected for someone of his ilk. Very, very helpful. Thank you for the introduction. Good day.
And, man, I'm trying to...
Are there sad horns as you zoom in on Seraphina's face?
Yeah, wah, wah, wah. She is like was not prepared for all of this. So as this is happening, I think we're gonna end there, but I'm gonna do like one little post scene.
Love it.
We see a man in a green cloak with a sunburst symbol on his chest, walking angrily out of a small, humble home on the island of St. Simone. After a few steps down the porch and down the path, a woman in a postal uniform starts jogging after him.
As soon as she like came around and he realized that he forgot her, he's turning around, and when he sees her, he's like walking towards her and apologizing.
Yeah. The camera zooms out. We're just going to do a little bit of cinematography right here. Zooms out of the forest and then tracks through the treetops, goes to the edge of the island, not overlooking the Salton Sea, but instead looking out across the marsh and to the mainland. You see a long boardwalk-like bridge cutting across the marsh, zigzagging through, and on that bridge, you see a small group of travelers. Some of them carrying clubs, some wearing robes, some on horseback, and some walking. The lead of this group of travelers, you see a man wearing a purple cloak, and he turns and looks at his companions and pulls down his hood. The setting sun reflects off of the exposed skull that is revealed as the hood falls. And that's where we're going to end today.
Gross.
All right, man.
You're going down, Skeletor.
Nice.
My dude has a short fuse, it turns out.
Oh man. So this has been fun. This has been a good time. I'm so glad to finally have you on, man.
That's fantastic. Thank you for having me on.
Nice. Do you want to, before we head out, do you want to plug anything?
Heck yeah. Go to warforthetower.com and listen to, we got 6 backstory episodes on there, 2, I guess we're calling them chapters. Nice. So you find those there. Everything is awesome. We're wrapping up our Game of Thrones recap chats, which have been a little disheartening for me as we wind down. But I'll get through it. I'll survive. I'll make it.
I'm on season 6 right now, so I still have hope, which is being shattered whenever I hear someone's emotional reaction to the most recent season.
I mean, it's only because it's so good that like people are disappointed. Like, you know, it's at the end of something, it's never as good as you want it
That's
to
true.
be. Especially if you're Stephen King.
Yeah. Sorry, that just hit me a little too real.
Yeah, War for the Tower is an actual play set in the world of Stephen King's Dark Tower. It's super cool. We've got a wizard from Brooklyn. We've got a gunslinger. We got who else we got? We got all kinds of cool things. We got a changeling man who's an orangutan. It's tons of fun.
So much good stuff, guys. Definitely check those out. There will be a link in the description. There might be a teaser after the end credits. So yeah, guys, thank you for everybody. This has been Ty.
And your homeboy, Jeff.
And we're gonna pitter-patter on out of here.
Hell yaller!
Hell yaller! Hell yaller!
Hell yaller!
Hell yaller! Thanks to the Joy Drops for the use of Not Drunk as our intro and outro music. Find them at thejoydrops.com. You can find us at sidecharacterquest.com, at SCQ Podcast on Twitter, or by email at sidecharacterquest@gmail.com.
The Scavengers Network.
Creator-driven,
community-focused,
treasured content.
It's a shattered world's party.
And the zombies are
Ain't that
walking.
true?
It's in space too. It's Shattered Worlds too. Cosmic Boogaloo.
Yeah.
So that's a little song we did on Shattered Worlds RPG. I'm Jeff. I just wanted to take a little moment to thank Ty for all that he does. Ty, Eli, everybody else in the gang. have made a wonderful, beautiful show. I've been listening from almost the very beginning, and it's better than ever. I'm so happy to have been on the show, and so thank you to all you listeners, to all the guest hosts, and most especially to you, Ty. You're the best. And I'm going to add a couple of Shattered Worlds goofs here at the end because I think it's very cool.
What would
we're
Riker
definitely-
do if he only had stools?
Helmet butter is the best kind.
You know, there's probably a website for that, for like people that like to taste people's face skin.
Sure. I don't want to know that website. If you find it, don't tell me.
So that's a little bit of what we do. Thanks, Ty. Thanks to Side Character Quest. And please come listen to us. We're on all your podcatchers or at shatteredworlds.libsyn.com. Peace.
It's a Shattered Worlds party.
And the zombies are
Ain't that
walking.
true?
It's in space too.
This is going to get cut and put in the bloopers.
All those problems I was running into on the internet last week are because of this stupid arm I got. And it, well, not
Was
all
it
the
like
problems,
creaking?
but it was creaking, and I didn't. It was the first time I'd ever used it, so I didn't realize that was a thing. Anyway, now I do most of my noisy shit away from the mics.
That's very good, very good. Another thing that's probably not going to actually get into the show proper, but will be included in the bloopers maybe.
You guys like sound talk?
You guys like audio discussions of bit gaps, bit gaps,
Yeah. So.
Blah ba doop doo 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 doop doo ba doop doo doop. Did I go deaf suddenly? What's happening? It's the Telltale Troubleshooting song. I like to sing it when things go wrong. It's the Telltale Troubleshooting song. Oh, I hear a beep.